Okay, let's go ahead and get into producing the 3D model. All right. First, let's go back to the modules and see if that guy is still open. Yes, it is. So this is the 3D model we're going to be producing, and then we're going to set it up on the sheet just like it is shown here in the multi-view drawing. Okay. Simple model. I know it seems complicated, but it's not. It's very easy. It's just like magic when you see me do it. So you guys will have access to all the videos and you can practice as much as you like. Well, let's jump back into AutoCAD. Okay. So first things first, when I'm doing a 3D model, I know you guys have dimensioned all of this. So what I like to do is I will draw a line up under this because that's the drawings that I want to keep. And then I would copy all of this down. So you type in CO for copy, hit the space bar to activate it, then highlight what you want to copy. Then you want to right click, then left click and pull it down. Okay. Once you do that, you can go ahead and take the dimensions off of the ones below the line that you just drew, because we don't need the dimensions right now for the 3D model. Okay. So first things first, let's go ahead and model this guy. It's two things. We're going to model two components. We have this guy, and then we have this guy. Okay, the top view. In fact, let's go ahead and delete one of these lines. Not too many lines on this one. I think these two lines shouldn't be here. I forgot to trim those. Okay, now, or I just missed them. But let's go ahead and get rid of this one as well. Okay. So what I like to do when I'm doing 3D models, I like to look at it in parts, okay? So right here, from this line to this line is part 1, and from this line to this line is part 2, okay? So what you can do is type in the letters PL. PL stands for polyline, okay? So type in PL and hit the space bar to activate it. And let's go ahead and go to the Home tab. And let's change this layer to something red. Let's just put it on room. Let's just put it on room numbers for right now because we just want something red because we're about to overlap the lines we already have drawn and want it to stand out. So you come here, you go just like this with the polyline command active. And a polyline is just one continuous line. Everything that you do in 3D has to be drawn with a polyline, okay? So now, see how I click this line and on that line to highlight? That's because it's a single line. It's not a polyline. If I come and click this line, then that line will show the boundaries and extents of the polyline. All right? So let's go ahead and take this, select the polyline, and it'll ask you about the selection. It's asking you, you want to select the line, you see the blue line highlighted in the background, or you want to select the polyline. So click polyline. Right click and then move it over. Okay. Now let's P-line this part 1 up. Or you can just do rectangle because it's a perfect rectangle. But let's just stick with polyline. PL spacebar. And you go here, click here, click here, click here, and click here. Okay. Then select it, and you want the polyline. You want to move it over. Okay. Now, one thing about AutoCAD, especially with 3D, there's 100 ways to do one thing. Okay. So I'll roll these things out in a way that is easiest for you, if that makes sense. Okay. So what we want to do now is, we know that the back part of this is going to be 5 feet. All right, so first thing we want to do is, now that we have that drawn, let's go ahead and just delete these because we don't need them anymore. Well, we don't need them. We need to see anything, we have them up top. I just like to copy things down when you're doing 3D because in most cases you're going to be drawing polylines over what's drawn in 2D and extruding them. So once you have these two drawn, you would come here, hold down Shift, and you see the scroll button on the mouse? You want to hold down Shift and push the scroll button down. This will activate the orbit command, okay? So we want to go to a 3D view. So orbit, however you feel, whatever you feel comfortable with. So now that we have this orbited, we know that this portion, as we look at the side and the front drawing, is going to be 2 feet. So we would type in EXT for extrude, hit the space bar, select the object you want to extrude. You want to right click, click enter, and pull this guy up. Now, with this command still active, you want to tell it how far you want to pull it up. And we know that this guy needs to be 2 feet. So with this still active, take your hand off of the mouse and type in 2 feet and hit the space bar. And boom, there you go. You have this guy at 2 feet, okay? So next we need to do what? We need to extrude the top part, okay, which is here. So we got this guy, it's 2 feet, we extruded this part. Now let's extrude this part, and you can't see it here, but that's 5 feet. So let's go back to AutoCAD, okay? And let's type in EXT for extrude, E as in earth, X as in X-Men, T as in tall, hit the space bar, select this object, right click, select enter, pull it up, take your hand off the mouse, type in 5 feet, hit the space bar, and boom, there you go, okay? So now what we have to do is we have to take these two and bring them back together. So again, we can just move it. So you hit M for move, select this guy, and you want to drag it over, boom, right here. And you have to make sure that it's snapped properly. Sometimes it'll do like what mine just did. You want everything to be in line. So sometimes you have to zoom in really close to get a good snap on it and to tell it where to snap to, okay? So now we have this piece right here, okay? And there is one other component that we need to draw. And I will show you guys how to do that. But first, let's make this all one part because, you know, in the drawing here, it's all one part. And the last thing we have to do is draw this little cutout here, okay? So let's go back to AutoCAD. And you want to type in the word union, like union of marriages, right? U-N-I-O-N. So type in U-N-I-O-N, union, and hit the space bar to activate it. And select both objects that you want to join together. When you hit the space bar, boom, there you go. Now you have one object. And you can look at this by holding down Shift and pressing down on the mouse wheel to orbit, okay? And if you want a more centralized orbit, you would select the object, hold down Shift, and press down on the mouse wheel to orbit just about that object, okay? So here's our object. This is what we want to see. So now what do we have to do? We have to cut this insert out right here. Here's an insert, we have to cut it out. So we know it's 1 inch on the edge, so this insert will be 3 inches wide and 1 inch deep, okay? So let's go back to AutoCAD, and this is where you get into the views. You have the object selected, and you want to go over here to custom view and type in or select top, okay? So here's your 3D model here. And let's go ahead and draw some lines to give us some boundaries and change the colors. You can leave it on the same layer, but you can just change the color to cyan. And let's draw a line here, okay? And let's draw a line here. And let's offset that line. You want to hit O for offset and type in 1 foot and hit the space bar to activate it. And offset this line north 1 foot and offset this line south 1 foot. Okay, so we know that these lines is going to be, this is the extent of the opening. Okay, and this is very simple. And again, you have the videos, you can just always refer back to them and just, you know, follow me verbatim. All right. So now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and change this back to red, and I'll tell you why later. So select by layer, because we want it on the room numbers layer and the color to be that color of what the layer is named, okay? So you want to come here and you want to type in REC for rectangle and select, hit the space bar to activate the rectangle command and draw a rectangle from here to here. And once your rectangle is drawn, you can delete this line, delete that line, okay? And you probably can't see it, but if you want to delete these lines, you just select them all and then hold down shift and select the rectangle. When you hold down shift, this will deselect what you have selected. So the lines that are underneath it stay selected and you can delete them, okay? So now, let's go ahead and select the object. You want to hold down shift and press the scroll bar on the mouse to rotate it. So now we need to do what? We need to cut out this 3 by 1 inch deep insert. But first we have to extrude our tool that we're going to be cutting with, which is the rectangle that we just drew. So let's type in EXT for extrude, hit the space bar, enter, select the object, right click, hit enter, and pull it up. And you want to type in 3 feet, okay? So now what you want to do is select the rectangle we just extruded. Let's go ahead and give it a different color now. Because what's going to have to happen is we're going to need to change views to actually move the rectangle into position where we can actually do the 3 by 1 inch deep insert. So what you want to do is you want to come here, select the object, and there is a view cube right here. And when you're not using the X reference palette, you can just turn it off. All right. So first thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and select the cube. Yeah, 3D solid. And you see right here where it says right, you want to look at this thing from the right side. So this is the right side. So select right. Boom, there it is. Now, what you want to do is take this, highlight it, and move it up. But it's only moving side to side, right? That's because we're in a different view, and AutoCAD still thinks that you're in the view that we just left. So you need to tell it what view we're in. So what you're going to do is type in UCS, and that's U for Under Armour, C for car, S for sand, and hit the space bar to enter. And then you want to type the letter V, not Z. You want to type in the letter V, which just shows right here, which is view. So type in V and hit the space bar. So now AutoCAD knows that you're drawing in the view that you're in and not in the view that you were previously in, okay? So now you can come up here, let's draw a line because we have to show the boundary of the depth of the insert. So go ahead and draw a line there and then offset it 3 feet. So O, hit the space bar, type in 3 feet, space bar, and then offset this guy 3 feet. Where is it 3 feet? It's 1 feet. I'm sorry. I had it wrong. So delete this and offset 1 feet. Okay? And take this line and stretch it across. Yeah, that line. And you can delete this one here. So now you type in UCS view. You can move this guy, select it. And when you're in 3D, I try not to snap the things because when you snap the things in 3D, it can snap to something way out of the picture. So that's why I like my crosshairs to be large, okay? So what you would do is you would line this up at the bottom here. And then just move it up. And don't even snap to the line. So when you get to the line, you hit F3 to turn the snaps off to line it up with the line. Just line it up as close as you can. And then you can hit F3 to turn the snap back on. You see right here, O snap on, hit F3, O snap off. Let's go ahead and delete this line. Now, we need to tell AutoCAD that we are about to go out of this view. So what you need to do is type in U for